From First Coast News, this is Good Morning Jacksonville.
Your first big story now at 6 o'clock this Friday morning. That Lake City police officer on your screen right now is on the mend after he was dragged behind a suspect's car after a traffic stop. Our Alex Ositis is live this morning in Columbia County. He's going to have a report for us on that officer's condition in 2 minutes.
The state of Florida will comply with a presidential request to turn over voter data to the Federal Election Integrity Commission, but that commission won't get all of the data it asked for. Monica Garcia will have more on this in just 5 minutes. And your third big story on this Friday morning, it's one of the most highly anticipated meetings of political powerhouses in recent history.
Wouldn't it be great to be in that room with them? President Donald Trump's going to meet with Vladimir Putin of Russia during the G20 summit today. A closer look at the upcoming meeting. That will be at 6:07. Here's Mike Prangley with a look at your weather forecast today.
Yeah, let's get right to the weekend. Big weekend is here. So for our Friday, look at this, just a 20% chance of a cooling storm, 96 degrees. Brunswick at 5 o'clock is your precision forecast for the best chance of a pop-up storm. Even there, maybe one side of the road gets a shower, other side stays dry. And then Saturday, a little more interesting. Up the rain chances to 40%. Looks like from Waycross into maybe Kingsland and St. Mary's between 4 and 6 o'clock, some of those daily downpours. And then Sunday's the day to keep an eye to the sky. Maybe some stronger, more intense storms for most of us, all right, as we go into Sunday after 4 o'clock. So for our plans, they're a go, but we got to keep an eye to the sky, especially Sunday, late day, and of course late today and tomorrow in Georgia. So pet-friendly Friday's here, and we've been given some signs of heat strokes. Those dogs need their cool spot too, not just the humans. And keep in mind, when you see brick red or blue-purple gums, excessive drooling, a few of the signs, yes, that's a sign of heat stroke. And with this heat stroke weather, we'll have that high of 96 today, a heat index near 110. Now let's get to Katie Jeffries with the latest in the VyStar Credit Union Traffic Center.
Thank you so much, Mike. Starting with the live look here, this is 295 near Bay Meadows. And 295 here usually starts to get a little congested, but not till about 7 o'clock, 7:15. So right now it is free and clear. Let's take a look here towards your traffic maps if you're making your way out the door. We did have an accident around 4 o'clock this morning in St. Johns County. It was a crash with injuries at South Holmes Boulevard, just north of Douglas Park Drive, but no lanes there are blocked. Also wanted to let you know that all the bridges downtown are open and usable. I know you're seeing some red there on the Main Street Bridge, but I drove across it this morning on the way to work, so I can verify that it is in fact open. If you're traveling maybe along I-10 from Lake City towards Jacksonville, very smooth ride, but I believe the speed limit's about maybe 70 miles per hour, maybe 65, so looks like people are speeding a little bit. You might want to slow that down. Back to you, Lou.
All right, back to that developing story out of Columbia County now. An officer recovering after a suspect dragged him behind his car. This during a traffic stop last night. Alex Ositis is live in Lake City this morning with all of those details and the officer's condition this morning. Hello, Alex.
Lewis, good morning. And just coming into our newsroom, we're learning that Breon Pope is the 30-year-old driver that was arrested last night. And this is actually the intersection where all of this happened, that it all unfolded last night when the officer made that stop and then quickly escalated. We do want to show you Pope's mugshot right now, though. Take a look and see this is 30-year-old Breon Pope. And this traffic stop escalated quickly, turned into a nightmare for the officer in a busy part along US 90. Lake City Police Officer Stuart Robinson making that stop found that the driver had a suspended license, had a warrant outstanding. He phoned for backup, and when that second officer arrived, the suspect took off. Now, it dragged Robinson about a mile, and he was also involved in a chase. Other officers from Columbia County trying to get that vehicle to pull over while he was dragging the officer several more miles, actually, before that came to an end, and a maneuver actually used by police to get that car to pull over. So the driver and the passenger were taken into custody. Robinson was airlifted to Gainesville. On our last check, he is in a stable condition this morning. Again, Lake City Police have made an arrest, a 30-year-old in this case. The passenger actually, is expected to be released. We're still confirming that, though, with Lake City Police this morning. Reporting live in Lake City, Alex Ositis, First Coast News.
Thanks for that, Alex. And the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office is now investigating after a JSO patrol car was involved in a crash with at least 2 other cars. Now, the wreck happened on Beach Boulevard around 8:30 last night. Witnesses told us a truck was stalled there when the patrol car just hit it. And then a third car had to swerve around that accident. You can see here, one car ended up in a ditch. Now, luckily, though, no one was hurt. A federal voter fraud commission asked several states for the personal information of millions of voters. And now the state of Florida will turn over some of that data. Monica Garcia joins us now in studio with the details. Monica.
Well, good morning, Keith. So this is a request that's seen a lot of pushback from states because of privacy concerns. You know, we don't want to hand over our information if we don't have to. But Florida's Secretary of State doesn't quite see it that way. Ken Denster says he will be handing over your voter data to the Trump Commission on Vote Fraud. He says he has to abide by state public record law, but he also says, hey, I'm not going to be handing over everything. What he gives will be tailored to fit boundaries. So then what exactly is the state going to be handing over to the White House? Well, that is your names, addresses, your dates of birth, political party affiliation, but not your driver license information, parts of your social security numbers, as well as data deemed exempt or confidential, according to state law, because they forbid that. So how do you know if your information is going to be part of all of this? Well, if you've been a registered voter in Florida since 2006, then most likely you are. By the way, Trump's commission has not exactly said what they plan on doing with this data. Back to you guys.
All right, Monica, thank you so much. Your time is 6:06. Time for your top national stories. It's the first face-to-face meeting between two political powerhouses today. Much anticipated. President Donald Trump set to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin during the G20 summit in Germany today. ABC News reporting that only 6 people will be in that meeting. The two leaders, Secretary of State Rex Tillerson, his Russian counterpart, as well as 2 translators. All right. Top secret. Democratic lawmakers are calling for President Trump to ask Putin about election meddling, but the president said those incidents cannot solely be blamed on Russia. Well, a Georgia mother faces a murder charge, accused of killing her husband and 4 children. Happened just east of Atlanta. A 5th child was also injured here, but rushed to the hospital. All of the children were under 10 years old. Police have not given any motive in this case just yet as they continue to investigate. Here's one. It's a head scratcher for most of us who ever played soccer or sports as youth, but let's just listen up, maybe give it some thought. One state's putting its foot down so kids can play sports without distractions from the sidelines. The South Carolina Youth Soccer Association created a new set of rules called Silent September. So this fall, all parents, all spectators will be required to stay completely silent during a game. No cheering, no nothing. If they break the rules, they're going to be disciplined by a coach. At the start of the season, parents must sign and agree to those rules before their kids can even play. I don't know. Well, how's this for being a team player? The Chicago Cubs did not have many options when it came to pitching in the 9th inning against the Brewers last night. Cubs manager Joe Maddon didn't want to use any more relief pitchers, so he sent his outfielder John Jay to the mound, who had never thrown a pitch in pro ball before. Kept sending pretty big benders to the plate. Actually got a couple strikes, got an out. Was a scoreless inning, we'll put it that way. He pitched a scoreless one, although the Cubs end up losing 11-2. They saved an arm or two, and it's just the middle of the season. They got a lot more games to play, so save the arms.
Let's get back to that other story about keeping silent during your kids' games.
Yeah.
Seriously, where's the fun in that? How's that going to work? You're going to blurt it out by accident, go, Tommy.
You score a goal, you really got to look at the rules of this in the agreement. Are you allowed to cheer when a goal is scored? I mean, it says total silence, and then you're watering things down. And when it gets to high school and these kids graduate and move on, they're going to be playing in front of cheering crowds.
Yeah,
I don't know. I get what the point is. It's to prevent the heckling. It's to prevent yelling at refs and starting the fights. But, at some point.
But then you wonder, how bad did one of those fights get to them actually having to do that?
Put the foot down.
All right. Thanks, Lou. 6:09 is your time. So renewing the efforts to boldly go right into space. At 6:15, how the vice president will play a new role in the mission to take humans to Mars. And later, what in the world is going on in this building right off of I-95? We're going to explain and get your take on it. That's at 6:25.
We are 20 minutes away from an extra spectacular sunrise. It's been hot outside, but we can thank the Saharan desert for this. I'll explain why. Happy Friday, and Katie, get ready for a gorgeous sunrise. Ready for the weekend?
I am so ready, and there's nothing more beautiful than watching the sunrise come up.
Yes, and I've liked some terminology you've been using. You use face of the sun hot. That's how hot it's been.
That's the best way I can describe it when you get out of your car in the afternoon.
Yeah, it's been like desert hot out there, and we're looking at an extra spectacular sunrise due to Saharan dust. Yeah, this has taken this desert effect to a new level, but we've tracked Saharan dust all the way from Africa across the Atlantic, and it's made it all the way into Texas, including Florida. So you see these lighter patchy areas here, and that tends to enhance our sunrises and sunsets this time of year. Pretty interesting, right? Also, we're seeing more dry air in place today, so fewer storms, and it's all about the heat. But as we look at our precision cast, Blunt Island over to Hanna Park, 6 p.m. you could see a pop-up storm. But again, these are showers that last about 20-30 minutes, and it's the quick lightning that I'm worried about out there with those downpours. And then up into Georgia, a better chance of one of those daily downpours for the St. Simons Pier at 5:45. But all in all, it's about that heat index in the shade, Katie. This is not in the sun, of 110. So we got to slow it down, and we'll have some heat stroke tips coming right up.
You know, you got to be so careful drinking so much water, drink Gatorade this time of year.
Right.
Just make sure you're really staying hydrated. Let's take a live look outside. Gorgeous sunrise. This is I-95 near State Road 16, so near the exit for the St. Augustine outlets if maybe you're going to sneak in some shopping this morning. If you're taking a look here towards your interstates around Jacksonville, still not seeing any major problems. I-95 looks great from 295 towards downtown. It's about a 13-minute ride at this point. No problems there along 295. Atlantic, if you're traveling maybe from the beaches, A1A towards the Hart Bridge, it's about a 23-minute ride. That little slowdown you see going towards the intercoastal, it looks like it's people maybe stopping at a stoplight, but no reports of crashes there at the moment.
That's right. So some good travel weather. We'll have more on that coming right up.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Katie. Your time now is 6:14. So the Vice President reiterates America's commitment to taking astronauts back to space and all the way to Mars. But how would it all work exactly? We're going to break down NASA's timeline when we come back in just 2 minutes.
You're watching Good Morning Jacksonville.
We will return our nation to the moon. We will go to Mars, and we will still go further to places that our children's children can only imagine.
The Vice President vows America will lead in space once again. He was at Cape Canaveral on Thursday. He announced that he will lead the reformed National Space Council with the intention of sending NASA astronauts back into orbit in the future.
Keitha, let's take a second. Let's talk about just how ambitious a mission to Mars would be. President Trump, of course, signed a bill in March requiring NASA to put humans on the red planet by the year 2033. That included $19 billion in funding, $19 billion. But how will the administration actually accomplish such a feat? Of course, depending on NASA and the new crop of astronauts that just moved in. NASA says this is all going to happen in 3 stages. First, a stage called Earth Reliant. Relative to this video you see here happening from now until the mid-2020s. It'll focus on development of life support systems and health advancements that could keep humans alive in deep space, but it'll be closer to Earth-style missions. Now, the second stage is called Proving Ground, according to NASA. From the year 2018 until 2030, NASA crews will figure out how to go past the moon and all the way on to Mars into deeper space. It'll start with an unmanned launch of that Orion rocket that's supposed to carry the NASA astronauts, and if all goes according to plan, astronauts would board the Orion after that to go further than humans have ever gone before. It gives you chills, doesn't it? All right, the third and final stage is what NASA calls Earth Independent. All right, and that'll happen after the year 2030, the goal, of course, 2033, and focus on sending unmanned missions out to land on Mars. And after that, NASA again wants to send human beings to the red planet the early 2030s in our lifetime for sure. And would be very exciting to see it happen. Be history. Keitha.
It is, yes, indeed. Exciting. Thanks for that, Lou. Let's take a look outside right now. Oh, look at this shot in downtown. It is gorgeous out there, but hot. For more on that, here's meteorologist Mike Prangley.
Hey, thank you, Keitha. And we're putting together the weekend forecast here, and the question is, when will our storm time return? When will we see some increase in those cooling storms? And I think it won't be until late Sunday, based on the latest. And also some good news in the tropics. Tropical Depression 4 continues to weaken. The Hurricane Center is going to call this, they think, a remnant low. by tomorrow. Okay, so too much wind shear. So let's look at the weekend forecast. This is what we need to know. So today, Brunswick could pop a storm for 20 minutes. Okay, 96, that's your big story. The high heat index of 105 to 110. Slight chances of rain farther south of I-10, including Jacksonville, St. Augustine. And then Waycross over to St. Mary's, Kingsland, you would have a better chance of a storm between 4 and 6 o'clock tomorrow. Still the heat, the big story, but then Sunday's the day to watch. The Storm Prediction Center now has us in a marginal risk of severe weather, so have those apps handy. That would be late Sunday, though, so we're going to get a beautiful view of the moon Saturday night. I think most of our plans should be a go, but Futurecast shows the deal here. I mean, we're talking about a front slowly moving in, so notice starting to see those changes with increasing storms late Saturday, especially across Georgia, and then for the rest of us, including the beaches, but that would not be until late Sunday. 7-day forecast shows those increasing shower storms. We get a little break in the heat. A little, Katie. Still some low 90s in there. And yes, the Jacksonville Sharks bring home a championship, hopefully, on Monday. Now let's get to the VyStar Credit Union Traffic Center with Katie Jeffries.
Thank you so much, Mike. Let's talk about caring for your car in this hot weather. Just 3 quick tips for you. So make sure you check the age of your battery, because sometimes the heat can wear on your battery even more than the cold weather. Also check your coolant there, and you might need to replace it. I'd have a professional do that though, so you don't burn yourself. And also make sure that your tires are properly inflated. If they're underinflated, that can increase the wear, and that could lead to a blowout on the roadway. So keep those things in mind. Quick live look out here towards the Buckman Bridge. Things look great on the Buckman. Not seeing any heavy congestion, though it is starting to pick up on the side, bringing you towards Mandarin. That's typical for this time of the morning. If you're traveling along US 17, no problems there leaving Fleming Island. 220 to 295 is about an 8-minute ride. Depending on the stoplights, might be a 12-minute ride, but no reported problems or crashes there in Clay County at the moment. Back to you, Keitha.
All right, thanks for that. Your time now is 6:21. So you may have seen it as you drive down I-95. A strange new building is now going up near JTV. Strange indeed, but it's pretty cool. So what is it? Tell us what you think right now. Go to firstcoastnews.com/gauge, and we'll see your responses when GMJ returns in 2 minutes.
It can make or break your Amazon Prime Day, and it could be the difference between saving hundreds or thousands of dollars. Great to be with you. Amazon Prime Day, one of the biggest shopping days of the year. And in my findings, I've made a list of insider information's secret. Well, until now, I'm sharing them with you. You can share them with your friends. But these are the times where you will score the biggest deals. Keep in mind that beginning this weekend, I will have every major Prime Day deal guaranteed in stock early. I have more insider information than anyone else this year. Then, check out our morning show on Monday. I will bring you the biggest deals before Prime Day launches that evening, and they will continue all night long. Our station website will continuously be getting the updates and the crucial savings information. The next time after that, well, after our morning shows, you want to keep an eye on your computer around lunch break through social media. Amazon knows that you are possibly at a desk with a little bit more time to spare, and I will be sharing those savings with you, and we will rock. Back to you.
All right, Matt, thank you so much. I want to play a news guessing game with you this morning at 6:26. Make you do a little bit of work, all centered around something that we've probably all seen driving along 95 right there at JTB. It's that white tower. You may see it during your morning commute, just whenever you're around town. I've seen it hundreds of times, and I've wondered. Again, the corner of 95 and JTB. It stands out. Construction of the White Tower has been going on for a couple of months now. People have been asking about it online. A lot of guesses about what it could be. So I know many others are probably scratching their heads about this as well. Here's where the game's going to come in. I'm going to give you 3 stories. So listen up. 3 possibilities about what it could be. 2 of the stories are fake stories. I want you to tell me which one is real. We actually have voting going on right now. firstcoastnews.com/gauge with the 3 stories. And you can let us know what you think. Let's go on to story number 1 right now. Story 1, possibility of what the tower could be. A company coming to Jacksonville to build a new planetarium. With the private space industry growing so fast and the interest in interstellar travel growing, a company out of Colorado building this facility to show what space travel would be like. There's option A. Let's go to story number 2 now. Something we've heard about in Jacksonville, an indoor skydiving facility. We've seen those in Orlando. Last month we told you about iFly perhaps coming to Jacksonville. There was speculation about where that location would be. We're trying to confirm that, and it perhaps seems this may be the location. But how about story number 3? It's going to be something called a car vending machine. We've shown you this video before out of Atlanta. A company called Carvana, an online car buying service, set up a car vending machine. You put in a special coin and the machine actually delivers the car to you out of the tower. Looks awfully familiar. There are your possibilities. We want you to vote right now. Do you think planetarium? Do you think indoor skydiving? Or is it a car vending machine, which is just mind-blowing and preposterous? But actually, what's most preposterous is actually true. It is going to be that Carvana vending machine right there. You can buy a car online, and in Jacksonville now you can go see it all work. It's kind of cool. It'll be a neat little thing to see on your commute. The construction company building the tower is called Shara. They're a North Florida firm. They confirmed with me that that will be the new car buying facility. It is set to be done at the end of this summer, which is a pretty fancy thing. All right, let's take a look at what you voted on, though. I want to see if you believe me, if you called my bluff, or if you knew exactly what it was going to be from the beginning. Well, no one thought planetarium, so fair enough. We already have a pretty awesome planetarium in Mosh anyway, the best one in the solar system. Indoor Skydiving Center had some people going at 29%, but yes, I think you've had probably seen it something similar to this before at the indoor car dispensing facility, the vending machine, at 71%. Now, indoor skydiving, back to that for a minute. There is rumor and a story that had been told that in 2018 we may have one out at Top Golf. We still have to work to confirm that. Also guesses online that it was a firefighting structure, a new practice facility for that. But no, now Carvana coming to Jacksonville. Keitha?
Wow, I'm surprised the majority of people actually got that, 71%. Yeah. I thought it was a skydiving facility. I was hoping it would be. All right, your time now, 6:28, and still to come on Good Morning Jacksonville on this Friday morning. A prominent attorney takes on the state why he thinks the state should change the law over how people can medicate using medical marijuana. GMJ returns in just 2 minutes.